Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Gaming. I appreciate you taking out time to check out this video, do the stuff that it says. Thank you in advance. But let's not delay, let's get right into it. So we're back talking about a fighting game because a bunch of this list is a bunch of fighting games, and it's been a hop, skip, and a jump. So, I felt it's necessary to get back into it. And we were talking about a fighting game on the Super Nintendo. There's a lot of fighting games that'll be on this list from that era. The Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis is all intertwined with me, So that's going to be a big portion of what we talk about. So the game I want to present to you today is one that's one of my childhood classics, even though I recognize it's not a great game per se, and that is ClayFighter. Now, first and foremost, everybody has to admit that ClayFighter has one of the most original, graphics, looks, designs of any fighting game, right? It was almost as like when Mortal Kombat came out, it was such a drastic change from what we were used to with the, traditional 2D fighters. Now, obviously, nowhere near as, complete and as impactful and as memorable and, just all of those things that, we associate with some of the better known fighting game franchises. I'm not saying that ClayFighters is anywhere near that realm. What I am saying is I had this game, I enjoyed this game, I played this game a lot, and I wanted to share that with you all, that I like this game. I recognize all of the flaws of this game, but it's not a bad game. Not a great game, but not a bad game. And this is the version I played. I didn't play the 63 and a third, not even the tournament edition, none of that. I played the original one. This is the one I owned, got it from Funko Land, which is another big part of my childhood, as you may have seen from some of the previous videos, right? But yeah, I remember just, I remember bringing this game to my brothers and being like, yo, I got this fighting game, this ClayFighters. And, they tried it out. They looked through it. They were like, they gave it a fair shake, but they were like, this isn't Street Fighter, Darius. I'm like, I get it. But, it's a decent cast. The most memorable people probably would be like Bad Mr. Frosty, Ichabod Clay, Blue Suede Goo, Taffy. I liked Blob. I liked Ichabod Clay. I liked Tiny as well, because I'm a fan of the grapplers and whatnot. But the game isn't, first and foremost, there's a lot of things with like the balancing and blocking. Like you could chip damage people down really, really bad. But it's fun, it's goofy, it was never to be taken serious, but visually and just character-wise, it was very much a representation of the 90s. Like everything about this, it felt like I was playing, like if Kablam made a fighting game, this would be, ClayFighters would be that game, right? It was like Action League now, but fighting. It's just goofy, it's fun, it doesn't really make too much sense. The boss, which always gave me like Master Hand vibes, is basically just a bunch of circles, and it's a fighting game, right? You fight against someone, best of 3, go at it, win, rinse and repeat. It also was one of the first games that was like non-Street Fighter to do, jab, medium, heavy on both punches and kicks. And I always thought that was cool. I always, it almost felt like it was taking itself serious by having 6 buttons versus the standard 4 that a lot of games had, even though they were on the Super Nintendo or the Sega, which had a 6-button controller. So it was like some of the other games that you may end up seeing on this list, they don't really take advantage of it. And I always thought that was like the first sign that you didn't want to be a serious fighter if you didn't use 6 buttons, you only use 4, because that's how my brain associated things. So now I know most people probably haven't played this or played it enough to even remember it, but I'm sure you've seen it in magazines growing up and things like that. But if you did play it, tell me about your experience with it. Did you enjoy it? Did you have a favorite character? Was it something that you and your friends played? Or was it one of those games where you went over someone's house to play it and you saw it and you was like, hey man, what is this? Like, I'm not doing this. Which I can understand. I can understand the apprehension. I'm not gonna take personal offense if there are games on this list that you all don't particularly think were, even worthy of being on the list, even though it is my list. Okay, so you will get these games. You're gonna get this work, as a wise man once said. But yeah, love to hear your thoughts on it. I really appreciate all the comments. It helps me kind of get into the mindset to dive into this nostalgia. And, I really like seeing you all reactions. So I look forward to it. As always, have fun, be safe. Peace.